Hello and welcome to Business Live. Coming up in our headlines, 4 illegal forex market operators arrested, 2 convicted. Ghana cedi expected to lose about 8.4% in value to the US dollar in the retail market this year. Also, government calls for public support to spend within budget in order to avoid election overspending. We'll hear from Deputy Finance Minister. These and many more coming your way in the next 30 minutes. A warm welcome. Now let's settle for the details with me, Emma Davis. The Asokwa Circuit Court 2 in Kumasi has fined Senya Poku and Ya Sewa of Senya Poku Enterprise, an unlicensed foreign exchange bureau operating in Patase in Kumasi, 600 penalty units equivalent to 7,200 cedis each. The convicted persons pleaded guilty to charges of conspiracy to engage in the business of dealing in foreign exchange without license and engaging in the business of dealing in foreign exchange without license. The Ashanti Regional Police Command in Kumasi, in collaboration with the other financial institutions supervision department and the security department of the Bank of Ghana, investigated and arrested 4 persons dealing in foreign exchange without approval and a license from the bank. The undercover investigation began on October 29, 2023 and concluded on December 3, 2023. The other suspects awaiting trial are Adam Isaac and Al-Hassan Nuhu of Makowasi Forex Bureau, another unlicensed foreign exchange bureau also operated on the KNUST campus, Kumasi. Now, the Ghana cedi is expected to lose about 8.4% in value to the US dollar in the retail market. This is according to IC Research. It foresees the mid-dollar rate to the cedi at 13 cedis 10 pesos to the dollar. There is more in the following report.
The expected depreciation of the cedi will be far lower than the about 15% recorded last year. In 2024, IC Research experts improved fundamentals as a result of expected multilateral inflows and appropriate monetary stance. This will partly offset election-related and external debt restriction uncertainties. The cedi enjoyed stability in December 2023, helped by the Bank of Ghana's monetary squeeze, the Cocoa Board syndicated loan, among others. Bloomberg neither classified the local currency in the best spot returns nor worst spot returns category in 2023. It rather pegged the unit at 11 cedis 95 pesos to the American greenback on December 29, 2023, the last day of trading in 2023. However, the Forex Bureau sold the cedi at 12 cedis 18 pesos to $1 US.
Minister for Finance, Abna Ose Asare, is asking the public to be measured with demands for projects that are not listed in the 2024 budget. According to her, government is committed to keeping within budget to avoid election year overspending, but needs the support of the public. Speaking to Joy Business, she expressed confidence that there won't be budget overruns this year.
We are asking all of us to help government live within that expenditure, asking for projects because it's an election year, when genuinely you know that this was not part and parcel of the budget, or asking for things that clearly you know that it will make government go over and above its budgets. We know it's an election year, but help us fit within the appropriation that Parliament will be given to us. And together, when we are able to stabilize the economy, it will bring about growth, and this growth will generate wealth and more employment for us. So this is the support we are asking from all and sundry, including the media people.
Meanwhile, Executive Director for the Institute of Statistical, Social and Economic Research, Professor Peter Quartey, is cautioning against politically influenced projects. According to him, governments must restructure the economy and ensure projects are within the budget. Professor Quartey charged the Finance Minister to evaluate all fiscal projects before releasing funds for the execution.
To restructure the economy, we need to enhance revenue mobilization, and even spending. But they are linked to the political issues. That's why we said some of them are political economy issues. So if you want to spend, for instance, what kind of evaluation have you done to ensure that this expenditure is better than if you should spend somewhere? We've seen education. We've seen some classroom blocks being put in certain areas that do not have the population to accommodate them unless we put boarding house, or boarding facility there. We've seen a lot of spending that goes on, election spending. Some of the roads that are constructed, some of the things that are done are politically motivated. I think we should go beyond some of the politically motivated, charged areas and do things in a less partisan manner.
Moving on, partner at Deloitte Ghana, Yao Lati, says it is critical for Ghana to go into its meeting with its official creditors with a plan that indicates that the country is prepared to service its debt if it is restructured. The bilateral creditors, according to Bloomberg, are nearing agreement on the terms of a debt restructuring. According to him, this process is crucial in helping Ghana regain the confidence of investors into the country. He spoke to Joy Business.
Do is maybe I always refer to how others have achieved it. We have to go to the table with a plan in place. And a very good example is what Zambia did. So we have a number of euro bonds that we have issued with various maturities and various terms. What Zambia decided to do was to restructure all their euro bonds into two major ones. So the first one maturing in 2035 and the second one maturing in 2053. It's important that we have a plan to consolidate all our euro bonds and all our external loans and facilities into what we call a consolidated loan facility or a consolidated euro bond, reissue them, and have existing subscribers sign onto it with different terms. If we have a similar proposal on the table and the external debt holders think that in the first place will give us some relief to be able to service our debt. Recall that Ghana suspended payments on external credits from 2022, December 2022. So it's been over 12 months since we suspended payments. And so external debt holders are quite concerned that when are you going to start receiving interest payments and principal repayments? So it's important that we go to the table with a plan that shows that we will be able to service our debt if they sign on to the new plan. And also if the external debt holders are taking a haircut, they are taking a haircut with a view that they will actually reduce their losses. Because you don't take a haircut and then somewhere down the road, the government is also unable to service a new restructured debt. So I think what I would propose to government is that we should go to the table with a plan, but a plan that will be able to sustain or a plan that will be able to continue on servicing our debt in the next few months. So I think one of the key things that we created, or the challenge that we created, particularly for the international market, is when we issued a letter suspending payment of interest and principal on our external debt. So that reduced the confidence of investors. A lot of the investors that we engaged from the external source told us that their board had approved for them to write off Ghana bonds. So they took, some of them have taken a haircut, some of them have actually priced them in their facilities in the near future. So I think a lot of these investors have reduced confidence in investing in Ghana and investing in Ghana bonds or government securities. So if you're able to reach an agreement, that will some way bring the confidence back. Mind you, government has indicated that maybe in the medium to long term, they are likely to go to the Eurobond market or the international capital market. If we want to go on that path, it starts with making sure that we're able to agree or have a debt restructuring process completed as soon as possible. The second is that it will help accelerate the entire debt restructuring process. If we agree on terms with the external creditors today, that will accelerate the process.
Interest rates fell once again with an anticipated ease in December 2023 inflation. According to the auction results by the Bank of Ghana, demand for treasury bills surged. Here's more.
The 91-day bill eased to 29.19% from 29.24% the previous week. The 182-day bill also went down by 14 basis points to 31.74%. Again, The 364-day bill retreated to 32.5.72 million cedis were tendered. All the bids were accepted. For the 364-day bill, 484.22 million cedis of the bids were tendered. The uptake was 479.43 million cedis.
Meanwhile, finance lecturer at the University of Ghana Business School, Dr. Jabir Mohammed, says government's inability to borrow from the international market will increase pressure on the domestic money market, and this is likely to prevent a decrease in interest rates. Speaking on the marketplace earlier, Dr. Jabir Mohammed said government will have to find ways to honor its debt obligations to salvage the situation.
Government don't have any option in the international capital market simply because we have serious implication on our external debt. And as Ya already said in the first place, we cannot even get any form of bilateral debt from any of our bilateral creditors. So once we cannot obtain any amount of money from them, definitely the government is going to be relying on domestic debt. Domestic borrowing. And also government may require Bank of Ghana to support its budget because we have about 50 billion deficit to be able to cover in 2024 alone. So that 50 million deficit that we have to cover in 2024 alone requires that we need additional funding from the domestic sources because the external sources have been cut off. So we have to bear in mind that interest rates are not likely to come down any moment from now. Even though we may have a downward trend in inflation, if government demand for domestic debt is higher, if government demand for domestic revenue is higher, obviously we are going to have a higher rate of interest coming up because, this is as a result of demand and supply forces. So we should expect interest rate to be higher as a result of government borrowing so much from the domestic market. Well, I think Yao had already said so much about it. But what I think is that even though they have to go there with a program, I also think that they have to reach an agreement with the bilateral creditors in a form that they are proposing December 2020, and the government is also proposing, they are proposing March 2020, and government is also proposing December 2022. So I think that they have to reach an agreement. They have to strike a balance. Let's say they can use 2021 as a benchmark, depending on the maturity date of the debt that they have to strike out. Because if they use the 2020 agreement, it means that government will have to be servicing all debt from 2021, from April 2021. April 2020 to December 2022 and beyond, which government is finding it extremely difficult to do so. So to be able to close that kind of gap, then we need to come out we strike a balance.
Still watching Business Live with me, Emma Davis. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. Welcome. A look at the rest of our stories. Aviation expert Sean Mendes is optimistic the aviation industry will record continuous growth in 2024. According to him, statistics show that the sector has rebounded to pre-pandemic levels and there is a likelihood of an increase in passenger numbers in 2024. He spoke to Joy Business.
I think aviation in 2024 is going to continue growing. 2023 was the first year after the pandemic where we really saw no restrictions in travel around the world. And I think we've seen throughout the world and, especially in Africa, other than in South Africa, every African country has met and exceeded its pre-pandemic levels of travel. Ghana had already achieved that, 2 years ago, so it wasn't a big deal in Ghana necessarily. But, even South Africa is beginning to catch up now. They're about, I think, 10 to 15% below where they were in 2019. And the rest of the world, has recovered. So I think 2024 is going to see another year of growth. And I think globally 2024, just given the fact that, the markets continue to grow and we no longer have any restrictions, we're likely to see an all-time record in terms of passenger numbers. So I'm optimistic, and I hope that that issues like this and safety concerns don't stop people from getting on planes, flying, and seeing the world.
Executive Director of Non-Governmental Organizations Center for Indigenous Knowledge and Development, Bernard Guri, has urged government to take immediate action to elevate the quality of local seeds in the country. He says they are climate resistant, though he concedes that the local seeds do not yield much. Bernard Guri made the call at a seed exchange program held at Kanchara in the Laura municipality, from where Joy News' Upper West Regional Correspondent Rafiq Salam reports.
The event showcased significant women participation, exhibiting a diverse array of seeds, including millet, sorghum, pumpkins, bambara beans, okra, yam, sobolo, maize, groundnut, moringa, and others, totaling up to 41 varieties. Additionally, a remarkable display of 25 to 49 local dishes prepared with these seeds drew the attention of enthusiasts. The exhibition attracted various stakeholders, including chiefs, queen mothers, a member of parliament for the Laura constituency, Bid Zeden, Deputy Executive Director of the Center for Indigenous Knowledge and Development, CICOD, Banoku Daniel, outlined the aims and objectives of the exhibition.
The health of a population is determined by what that population is fed with, partly. And so if we want to build a healthy society, we need to begin to feed our societies with healthy, nutritious, diversified food. But it all doesn't start from the food point of view. It has to start from the agriculture system, because it's the agriculture system that determines what is put on the table as food. And therefore, events like this for us is to remind ourselves of the importance of going back to look at indigenous farming systems, for example, adapting agroecological practices that would help us to produce our local foods and eventually make those foods available on the table that can contribute to the nutrition and health needs of our populations.
Member of Parliament for Laura, Bid Zeden praised CICOD for the initiative, underscoring the importance of reviving local seeds, which he said their survival is being threatened.
Our crops, our seeds that we used to grow, but which have now metamorphosed into some other thing. We want to have those seeds back as original seeds. And the opportunity is to bring people together to exchange these seeds. I'd like to encourage you to continue with this particular exercise. It is worth doing it.
Executive Director of CICOD, Bernard Guri, in an interview, urged government to take action to elevate the quality of the local seed.
And we think that government should make policies that favor the small seeds, what the farmers have here. What we ask is that government or the Ministry of Research should work with our farmers to see how they can improve upon these local seeds. We agree that yes, these don't yield as much as the so-called modern seeds, but this is what the farmers have. So how can we combine science and what are indigenous knowledge to produce seeds that are more productive than what we have, but still have the qualities of this one, because these are resilient. If there's no water, there's no rain, they will still survive, you still make a harvest. But the seeds that they bring in, if there's no water, you don't get any harvest at all. And that's why we are instigating or campaigning that government should support the small seeds.
A dietitian at the Babli Polyclinic, Nimpe Sota, emphasized the significance of diverse food to combating undernutrition.
We have food, different kinds of food, which we could term as food diversification and then fortification. Food diversification is eating the different varieties we produce from our farm, our local food, which give nourishment to the body when the child or when you yourself have eaten such food. And food fortification is adding another food or combining two different food to get the nutrient needed for the normal growth of a child.
Reporting for Joy News, Rafiq Salam, Kanchara.
Here in Accra, I am Emma Davis. But before we go and look at some of our top stories, this should be last time. It is a painful exercise. Professor Kortei cautions government against overborrowing. Convince official creditors to urgently restructure $5.4 billion loans, PEPRA, to government. Do visit our website for more details. Have a good evening.